Hey, what's up guys, this is LJ here with the patch 3.10, the top lane tier list. Going right into the tier list, at number 1 we have Zack. He has super strong sustain, he's very strong 1v1, he's pretty hard to gank as well because of his E, he's able to jump away, and he scales really well into late game. He's just super tanky and he's exactly what you want out of a top laner. At number 2 we have Shen, and the only reason he's here is because of that global ultimate. That is right, you guessed it. That global ult absolutely changes games. If a gank comes in on bottom lane and he's able to teleport bottom and turn that is exactly what you want in solo queue, and that is really strong. He's also a late game split pusher, and with his ulti combo he's able to join into the team fights, and the combination with his ultimate and teleport allows him to just completely go wherever he wants. At number 3 we have Renekton. Renekton wins most 1v1s. He's really hard to counter. Not many champions actually counter him, and he's just a really strong laner. He farms safely, and he scales really well into late game, so he's exactly what you want out of a top lane. He's a really safe pick. At number 4, we have Riven. He's really strong 1v1 in lane. He has really good mobility. 2 of his abilities can move him around, and his Q actually moves him a bunch of different places, so he really has a decent amount of mobility. He scales really well into mid, and a little bit into late game, depending on how fed he is, and he has the very high potential to carry games. Out of everyone in the tier 1 list here, Riven probably has the highest chance to carry a game. But that's it for the tier 1. Going into the top lane tier 2, at number 1 we have Tryndamere. He scales harder into late game than probably any other champion in the game. He's really strong. He split pushes super well. You're not going to be able to 1v1 Tryndamere. You're eventually going to have to send more than one person up there, and that's the definition of effective split pushing. He has a really high potential to carry games, which is something that we look at when we're looking at solo queue champions that we want to play. The issue with him, though, is why he's not tier 1. He's countered easily in lane, and unfortunately, if you don't make it to late game, then Tryndamere isn't really that strong. At number 2 we have Ryze. Ryze counters a lot of AD champions. He scales well into late game. The issue with Ryze is he's very susceptible to ganks in the top lane. He doesn't have a lot of protection like he does in the mid lane. He's a high risk, high reward champion. Oftentimes you're not going to go even in lane, so you're either going to be way ahead or you're going to come out behind, so he's a high risk. At number 3 we have Kennen. Kennen counters a lot of AD champions. He is one of the strongest laning phases in the game. He is amazing harass. His AoE ulti can win you games late game with its initiation and damage alone. The issue with Kennen is he's countered easily. If he loses lane, he will probably lose the game. So he's kind of dropping down the tier ladder a little bit with the newer additions of the other top laners, and he doesn't really have global pressure early game, and that's another issue with him. At number 4 we have Jarvan. He can go toe-to-toe with any other top laner. He scales really well into late game. He's a safe farmer, but the issue with him is he's just kind of been outclassed recently by other champions due to nerfs, and other champions that do the same role as him, like Renekton and Riven, they're just kind of at a higher tier right now, and they just do everything a little bit better than Jarvan does. At number 5, we have Elise. Elise has a really strong kit to support her laning phase. She has really good harass. She can farm well. She can all-in somebody. She's really good 1v1, and she has a really high potential to carry, which is what we look for in solo queue. But the issue with her is she doesn't really scale well as other top laners do. Other top laners are going to outscale her, and then late game that could be an issue. At number 6, we have Singed. And Singed can cause havoc for the enemy team, for the enemy jungler, for everyone in the entire map. The mobility that his ult gives him, and with Ghost, he can really be a pain, and the potential to carry games is definitely there with Singed. The issue with Singed is if he loses his lane, he's probably going to lose the game. He's a really high risk, high reward. Usually, you could be 7-0-20 in one game with Singed, and then the very next game go 0-20-1 with Singed. You know, he's not very consistent, and from game to game, he's a high risk, high reward. So that is it, guys. That's our tier 1 top lane and our tier 2 top lane for patch 3.10. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.
Where are we going? Hey, come back. Let's find some